So London Spitfire announces their new coaching lineup. So let's kind of run through what London have done anyway. London win Season 1 with the incredible trio of Gesture, Prophet, and Fury. London then put their players up for trade coming into the 2020 season and sell Prophet and Gesture to the Seoul Dynasty. Presumably are going to sell Fury somewhere, whether that be to NYXL or Fusion or whatever the hell other people are rumoring where he's going to go. And then instead of dumping everybody, because the only good player they would have left at that point is Badoshin, you would not try and keep the team full Korean just to keep Krillin or Quartermain on. I'm sorry. I wouldn't even do that for Badoshin. Then they announced their new coaching lineup. So instead of going for a full European team and just embracing all right, we're moving to London, let's have a budget team that can build a big fan base for us. Instead of doing that, they announced their new coaching lineup of Agape, Pavane, Awesome Guy, who is now known as SNT, and Twinkl. And I think that people consider this an upgrade in the coaching staff. I think it's a side grade at best. And that might seem like a hot take, so let's go through it. Assistant coach Agape. Agape has been with this team for a long time. He was originally with the team, then got removed from the team, got re-added to the team, but at no point did they trust him with the head coaching position. It's only after they have rinsed through a bunch of head coaches, none of which they were able to effectively work with, that Agape has been promoted to the head coach position. Agape is also a fairly... he isn't an alpha kind of character, like your Krusties of the world or your Hucks of the world or something. He's the kind of person that's strategic and talks to his players, but isn't going to lay the law down on them, at least from what I've seen and heard. And also, London's biggest problem has always been their coaching and their ability to make their players respect positioning, shot calling, playing the game intelligently. There is no fucking world in which the London Spitfire should have been finishing in like 8th to 6th place in either season, in the regular season, with the player personnel that they had. That is atrocious, honestly. Okay, Birdring was up and down and all over the place and didn't look like he really wanted to play at times. But even so, you've got 3 players that could arguably be considered the best players in the world. You have Prophet, you have Fury, and then you also have Gesture, who's won a shit ton of stuff since he started coming up. You know, this last season of the Overwatch League was the first tournament that he had not won playing alongside Prophet. So that is the kind of trio that should be just dominating the league. But they play sloppy. They don't have the same kind of game plan as other teams. They make rotations at the wrong time, misuse ultimates. It's all their decision-making that fucks it up. So I don't think that Agape had all the answers the entire time and has only now been promoted to head coach, and yet the players that he was previously always worked with have left. I don't know. I don't see a good track record for Agape. Pavane is the interesting one, because Pavane was brought into the NYXL, and during Season 1, they dominated the regular season, and then they failed in the playoffs of Season 1. And a lot of people kind of blamed the coaching staff at that point of the London Spitfire because... sorry, not of the London Spitfire, of New York, because they were still trying to play with Zenyatta and stuff at the time. They were still trying to force Zen into comps where it didn't make sense to do so. And I think Wizard Hyung and Pavane both came out afterwards and said, okay, yeah, we made a mistake there. We shouldn't have done that. We're going to dial it back a bit. This year, Pavane was the head coach of the team when they went on a tear throughout the regular season. But then in the playoffs, he, in an interview, I believe, said that he had stepped down from the head coaching position because he didn't understand the meta well enough and didn't feel like he could effectively coach it. and so he gave it over to somebody else. So the fact that he has now left NYXL and become an assistant coach on the London Spitfire in full knowledge that London have lost their two best players, Gesture and Profit, and might also lose Fury. Like, Pavane knew that when he was going onto the team. That says to me that Pavane didn't choose to go to London because he thought it was a better offer. He probably got hoisted out of New York. They decided that they wanted a change in coaching staff, and they've just not covered it up, but like, you know, PR speaked it and been like, okay, bye-bye, Pavane, new opportunities, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think Pavane said that head coach was too stressful and stuff like that. I think that people give the coaches a lot of credit when they're on good teams. I think Pavane and Pejon, this team, for the NYXL and for the Vancouver Titans, have a lot of credit for coaching teams that would arguably be as good as they were with any other decent coach. And then you've got Awesome Guy, who just fed his little fucking brains out over on the Florida Mayhem, but Lord knows how good he is when he's on coaching, you know. That could be a totally different scenario. But he used to play on LW Red, so he does have history with these guys before. But that's not to say that he would be a bad coach, but who knows. And then you have Twinkl as well, who's the former coach, I think, of O2 Blast, right? And O2 actually did relatively well with the talent that they had on that roster, so I could see him being fairly decent. But I don't think that this in any way is a similar coaching lineup to San Francisco Shock or Paris. I think this just has a lot of name value, but it doesn't really add up when you go and look back through their history.